people, my friends, my guides, my journeymen. How are you? It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast for the week of March 8th, 2024. We're going to talk about the card of the week. I want to first address that we are entering the space of this Pisces new moon this weekend. I have very strong feelings and energy around the transformative nature of this new moon. My heart feels very tender towards all of us in this moment, and my mind feels very Pisces energy. Like I'm having all these kind of dreamy images of what's transpiring energetically without a real tether into what do you do, what does it mean. There seems to be this very philosophical kind of moving formlessness running through our lives right now. And I've tried to actually record this like 5 times, which is super unusual for the weekly. Usually I pop on and it kind of just flows. This energy is defying language a little bit. And so I'm just going to talk to you through with you some of the things I'm feeling. And hopefully it'll be what it needs to be. And hopefully it will be just enough form without really robbing this experience of its power. There's something about Piscean energy that is mystical and ungraspable and transformative and ephemeral. You can feel it like this cloud, this like blue purple mist or cloud moving through our lives, and it calls for our respect. It calls for an appreciation for what that means. I had this thought the other day. I was sitting in my car, and a lot of things have changed for me recently, and especially these past 2 weeks, a lot of like very finite endings and finite beginnings, like just a lot of shifts are happening. And I was sitting there thinking, wow, you think you know what life is. Like you sit in your space and you look around, you say, okay, this is my life and this is what's happening and this is what matters to me and these are my people. And you kind of have this sense, and it's an illusion, that life will always be this way. It's like, oh, this is my life. This is what life is. And then days, months, years later, you blink and realize everything is different. The things that felt so sure, so certain, so definitive of your life have shifted. And there's this moment where you look around and say, oh, now my life is different. The things that felt so certain before are no longer in their form, in that shape. The shape of my days has changed. The shape of my environment, my relationships has changed. And I think it's just an interesting awareness, and there's something to be learned about respecting that. There's a lot to unpack in that, but just this idea that we're only living in the now. Like we really are only living in the present moment. And this call to widen your perspective, widen your experience of the present moment, I think is a really interesting call, like generally, globally, but particularly in this moment. How aware can you be of what's happening without being in the past, without projecting into the future? How deeply appreciative can you be of this? Like this set of circumstances, this moment, this environment, this collage of a life that you have built, because it will change. And that's the Pisces, like the Pisces cloud, that Pisces transformation that's like weaving through our space. We don't see it and we don't expect it and we don't know it. Like it's almost like beyond the human capacity to comprehend the vastness of the universe and the vastness of just a life, of a single life. And I say that like I scale that down to the vastness of a single moment. Like there's so much happening. Do you ever think that? You'd be doing something and think, I wonder what's happening in all the other lives of all the other people in the world. Someone is falling in love for the first time, and someone's heart is breaking, and someone is having the most mundane day, and someone is having the most extraordinary day, and someone is fighting for their life, and someone is having the blessing of a lifetime come into their field for the first time. Like there's so much vastness happening in a moment. And I really want you to feel the way that there's kind of this formless knowing that washes through a life and changes things in ways you could never expect. For good in a lot of ways, and also in ways that wake us and shake us that might not feel so good in the moment, but are part of the experience, part of being human. I say all of that because I'm already feeling the transformative nature of this new moon. And then when I pulled the card of the week, I pulled the death card. I really want to put the death card in the context of last week. So this idea of the 8 of Cups, this idea that something is calling you forward and you might not be able to explain it and you might not be sure what to do with it, but you're called towards it. It's those like red booties of desire, moving your feet, animating your feet in the direction that is right, whether you understand why or not. Animating your feet towards what your heart is longing for, trusting the impulse of your heart, trusting this formless momentum to take you where it needs to take you, weaves into this idea that there are no mistakes. We can judge where we've been, or we can judge where we're going, or we can judge how it is, but it's that idea that everything adds up to one. And so much of the beauty of your life is the learning you gather from the dark times, the learning you gather from the mistakes, the learning you gather from when it was hard, and when you recovered, and when you picked yourself back up, and the people that were there with you when that happened, the people that were in the trenches with you, that stayed with you when it was hard. I can feel in this death card, this reforming, a little bit of a sense of not helplessness, but a real sense of respect and humility for the vastness of life and the vastness of the human experience. When we are so sure is often when something, just something, will turn or click, or the dial will shift, and we'll be able to see it differently and say, oh, that's interesting. What I was so sure of, what felt like such certainty, what felt like such stability, or something so concrete that could never move, all of a sudden is moving, all of a sudden is different, all of a sudden is gone. The death card always is about deep transformation. I really feel the impact of this Pisces new moon this weekend in this death card, in this sense of, the king is dead, long live the king. Because the beautiful part of everything I'm saying is that life keeps lifing, is the fact that when you do blink and open your eyes and look around, this is a whole new chapter, a whole new experience. And that can happen in a day. It can happen again in months or years. But there's this turning of the wheel that you look around and say, oh, look at this. Look at this place I found myself in. What is beautiful here? What is interesting here? What is curious here? Who am I in this space? The death card is a very definitive turning of the wheel. And it's a very definitive reshaping of who you are and the new skin you're choosing to wear. It can make you feel really confident. Like you can have a sense with the death card of, right, I'm right on time. I am right on time. And even if I was uncomfortable or unsure, look at the way I took the shape I needed to take. Look at the way that I am adaptable and flexible and ever-changing, dynamic and ever-changing. And you can have a real appreciation for yourself in that. It's really important this week, this sense of appreciation and respect and humility. There's something about that combination of energy. The Pisces new moon and the death card want you to have a little bit of awe about your life, about who you are, about where you find yourself, about the present moment, about what is shifting and changing, and how out of control you are in that. And I know we talk about this like it's been you the whole time and you're so much more powerful than you realize. And also, there's something about opening your hands and feeling into the rhythms, the stories, the experiences that want to unfold in your life. And doing that without grasping, without saying, it's not supposed to be this way, or it was supposed to be that way, or I don't like this, and, make it stop, or it's going too fast, like all the things we talk about. But when the death card, the Pisces new moon is kind of saying, like, open your hands, child. Like, open your hands. This is a miraculous thing that you're experiencing. Trust us, trust me, trust life. A lot there, and I could really feel myself, and maybe it's coming across this way, maybe it's not, but like stumbling over my words, because I can feel this energy so fully in my heart, and I can see this formlessness as such a direct and clear power in our lives, like literally washing through all of our spaces and just changing things, just shifting things enough that it's different. And yet the words fail me a little bit. And obviously the death card is going to bring up what has died away, what is dying away in your life. And that can be people, experiences, roles that you've played. There's something to note about when you think about what is dying away or what has died away in your life, how much weight the absence has with you. Meaning that when we lose someone or we lose a role or an idea of who we were, that shifts. We can be so intoxicated by the absence that it takes on more energy than it would if that were still in our lives. When you look back and you think, I was this way, or this person was in my life, I want you just to have an awareness of how much of your life is shaped around what is absent. And I offer that to you very openly. Like that's something you might want to think about or journal on or do ritual around or have an appreciation for. Simply But it is important to note that our energetic body is in many places at once. And when we lose someone, something, some experience, some identity, and we don't fully appreciate that or fully integrate that or fully grieve that or fully open our eyes to that, it can have its a kind of a life of its own. So I just offer that again, like very openly to you, but to notice where the absences in your life, the losses, the things that have died away, either, physically or energetically, where they're taking up in a large amount of your experience or defining a large amount of your experience, and whether that still feels right and good to you. The death card is 13, so I want to remind you that we're in this Empress month, and the 3 is going to be with us. And it's interesting to think about the Empress is the womb of all creation. It's the life force, the generative capacity to create new, and that is with all of us in March. The death card is the singular experience of that constant generation, that constant transformation. And again, the energy is never born, energy never dies, just changing shape, just transforming. The death card is the reminder of even the things that fall away, even the things that fall to the ground, even when the king is dead, there's a sense of long live the king. The energy rises again. The death card just always is bringing our energy to the cyclical nature of life, the cyclical nature of our own experience, the cyclical nature of our environment. It's something really important. And again, such reverence for this, such deep, deep appreciation and reverence for the magic of this universe, the transformative capacity of life to keep on living, to keep on shape-shifting, to keep on transforming, to keep on being born anew. It's like such cool energy. Wherever you are, wherever you find yourself, I'm fairly confident that at some point this week, you are going to come up against the newness of life. You're going to come up against the sense of, this is different now. I pray that you have so much support in that and compassion for yourself in that. And I really, really would ask you to draw on some sense of respect and reverence for what that means. There's something about this transition that is deep and profound and unexpected. And I want you to trust whatever that brings to your life. The Empress, the Death card, the Pisces new moon. There's something about this that is maybe beyond our comprehension and yet so right. Like so divinely guided, so divinely orchestrated. I don't know. I feel so much in this card. And in terms of like a weekly energy, always to be really kind to yourself, but to have respect and reverence for whatever is taking place in your life, and to experiment with opening your hands and your awareness to what is, without judgment, without fear, without wanting it to be different. How fully can I be with the truth of what is here in my life, and decide accordingly, and let my little booties of desire propel me in the next direction, like propel me to the next place, propel me closer to myself. You're not making mistakes. There are no mistakes. Really, when you look back in the totality, what's that saying? It's always okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. There's something about that. The Death card is not the end. The Death card is the transformation, the re-preparation, the meeting life on new terms. Because aren't we constantly doing that? We're constantly meeting life on new terms because we are ever changing. Life is ever changing. And again, those environments, those places, those chapters in your life that feel so clear, this will always be my life. The most beautiful thing I can tell you, and probably the hardest thing I can tell you, is no, it won't. Like it won't. This won't always be your life. So be here now and trust the fact that you are not the only mover. You are not the only orchestrator. And you can open your hands to this moment more fully, knowing that it contains infinite beauty, infinite perceptive ability. There's so much here. There's so much happening in every moment. So the Death card is going to be a confrontation this week of the fact that things are shifting and changing, and that's okay. Gather yourself, wrap yourself in whatever you need to make that safe for you, to make yourself feel held in that. You're never alone. You're not alone. I think this card this week will remind you of that. I don't know, it's so funny. My head is so trippy as I'm like feeling into this energy, but there's like these layers of experience. There's going to be the experience you're having, and then there's going to be this higher version of you that's witnessing that experience, and then there's going to be this kind of divine version of you that's witnessing you witnessing this experience, it's going to be a little bit trippy, right on brand with Pisces, right on brand with death. Death, even as an energetic, is confronting. I just wrap you in love. I wrap me in love, and I really anchor into the grid, anchor into our experience, this sense of awe, like the sense of awe and appreciation for how dynamic and beautiful and mysterious life is in all of its forms, particularly as it's showing up for you, particularly as you feel this mist of transformation running through your life. May your heart open to a deeper sense of appreciation for who you are and how you are and where you find yourself right now. May the blessing of knowing that life is ever changing, life is ever shifting, allow you to drop further into what is beautiful right now, what is yours to experience and soak in right now. What is the thing, what are the spaces in your life, the things in your life that you can just drop more deeply into appreciation around. Okay, it's a lot. I hope that you guys are protected and safe and well and in community and feel the loving arms of the universe wrapped around you. I hope you feel this deep sense of awe and appreciation run through your body this week and every day. Take good care of yourself around this Piscean energy. Do not underestimate the power of the formless. Do not underestimate the power of the impulse to become, the impulse to unfold, the impulse to evolve. So much love with you and for you and at you. Check you later. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.